John Jepson, really good to speak to you. And I want to ask you, you're a long-standing member of our West Cheltenham congregation, but also with a long-standing interest in CMJ, the Christian ministry to the Jewish people. Tell us a bit about that, please.
Well, CMJ is one of the oldest missions going in the Anglican Church, founded 209 years ago, very different today. In those days, they had 200, well, a little later than that, 200 evangelists across Europe, bringing the good news of Jesus to the Jewish people. Now, of course, the main work's transferred to Israel, although there's a lot going on here, and they emphasize the 3 E's: evangelism, encouragement, and education. Education for the church, because we seem to have lost a little bit of the understanding of the prophecies of what's going to happen to the Jews, that God's not forgotten them. Encouragement for those who become Messianic Christians, Jews who meet Jesus and suddenly the world opens up. He is the Messiah after all. And the evangelism, of course, to bring them to that faith. So that's really what it's all about. And when I was young, all the evangelical churches supported CMJ. I'm from Manchester. We had a Jewish assembly in my school. So I was kind of integrated with Jews from a very early age. And I've always loved them and was taught that they're God's chosen people. As we're looking at this wonderful series on Sundays, fantastic. So thank you for getting that going. I found that really helpful and relevant.
So they're one of the mission organisations we support. What are the needs at the moment? What are the prayer needs?
Well, perhaps we could just focus on Jerusalem. There are 2 evangelists in England, one in Manchester, one in London, but of course they're in lockdown like everybody else. But over in Jerusalem at Christ Church, where Tony Higton was the rector, he was a curate at St. Bees when I first went there. There's a lot going on. And one of the big things they have is a bit like our family space, called the Mercy Fund. And there you've got Messianic Jews going round to Arabs in a very poor area where Christ Church is situated in the old city, and helping and delivering food and doing legal aid for them, things like that. Israel's not the rich country for the many people that we often think of in this country. There are a lot of rich, but there are a lot of poor, Arabs and Jews. So the Mercy Fund, and then of course the Messianic congregations and the spread of the good news through the centres, particularly at Christ Church and the 2 centres in Galilee and Jaffa. That's another prayer thing, that when all this COVID is over, tourism will get back and people can go to these centres and learn about Israel.
Wonderful. And I love to see your passion talking about CMJ, but I also know you as a person of passion about faith in general. Tell us what inspires you still about the Christian faith?
Well, it's just so true that Jesus is there. That's just part of my fibre, that Jesus is alive. He's right here with us now. It's wonderful. And we need encouragement ourselves. Sunday services have been good for me. And I do a Zoom triplet with somebody. I'm very busy around the house. I've got my son here who keeps me quite busy. It's wonderful to have a partner, a wife. And I just haven't found COVID a major problem, to be really honest. I'm blessed in so many ways. And one of the things I've found I've been taught to do during this time is to give thanks for what I have. I've had a rough 3 years health-wise, but I wake up every morning. I thank God for that. I can see, I can walk, I can hear, I've got food. We support the persecuted churches with open doors. And when you hear about what they're going through, I really wonder if I could stand what some of them are going through. Persecution's one thing, then to have COVID on top of it and to be restricted in what you can do because you're a Christian. and it's so hard. The Psalms are my favourite book in the Bible. I rejoice in the Psalms and read a bit every day. I use the Lectio 365, and today's was really good because it was to do with health, and I include forgiveness in health, physical health as well. Psalm 103, he forgives our sins and heals our diseases. And so Isaiah 53 is a fantastic chapter on healing, and that's the chapter that the Jews avoid. And that's the key, isn't it? That wonderful chapter, Isaiah 53.
Share that with us, some of the verses.
Well, he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. By his stripes, we are healed. I heard a fantastic sermon once about the wounds of Jesus. I think there's 7 of them in different parts of the body. And this guy was saying how every disease, every disorder of the body is covered by those 7 wounds. I'm still waiting for some of my healing, but if we don't get it now, we'll get it somewhere.
Yeah, John, that your enthusiasm and your passion is just so infectious. Thank you for sharing about CMJ, and thank you about sharing your hope with us as well. Bless you and thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you.